All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action with another look at another movie that begs one basic question. What did the makers of Paddington do right that everyone else in Hollywood does wrong when it comes to movies like this? Well, several things. First off, Paddington stayed true to the source material. You get a feeling when you watch Paddington that they actually read the books before they made the movie. You know? And I don't know about you, I grew up on Paddington, and that's saying something. For somebody who grew up, obviously my father was in the military when I was very little. We moved around. So someone in the United States in the 70s, I don't think Paddington was around as much, but he was there for me because I was overseas at the time. I'm not really sure. All I know is that I was a huge fan of Paddington Bear until I had my first marmalade sandwich, and then I wasn't interested in Paddington anymore because how could anybody like marmalade? Not my cup of tea when I was younger. I guess I'll have to try it again here soon. But the movie, loved this movie from start to finish. When you watch the trailers, you get the idea that this is one of those stupid kiddie fairs that you see that go direct to video. You know, the sequel to Air Bud, the sequel to George of the Jungle, things like that. It's got this forced humor, everyone acting like an idiot. But this movie didn't have that. They played it close to the chest, despite its very ridiculous premise. You got a talking bear who lives in Peru, has to move, so he comes to London to find the explorer that talked to his family all those years ago before he was even born. He wears his hat. So obviously he should be able to find him and get a proper home. I say proper because he does go to London after all. It's very British, you know. The explorer left behind a lot of British trinkets for the bears to enjoy. So the bears learned all about British culture from those, from the stuff, from the materials he left behind. Now, think about it for a second. Those materials are like the ideal London situation. You know, it's kind of like a poster. It's not true London. It's the poster for London. So Paddington Bear has got to come over and deal with true London, and as fate would have it, he runs into the Browns, who give him a home despite all the misadventures they start to have. The primary misadventure turns out that a ghost from Paddington's past that he didn't even know existed has a bone to pick with him. Let's just say that. But it's a very basic story. It's a very simple story, but that's not where this movie wins. This movie wins with characters, it wins with acting, and it wins with hilarious moments that just pop out of nowhere. So that's what happens. A lot of Paddington was just brilliant. And it was just so very funny. I was laughing all the time. You can't help but laugh. You can't help but notice the references to like Mission Impossible and Indiana Jones, and all the funny adventures he has, which was you would expect from a kid's movie. The best part about Paddington, the one thing I cannot overstate, this movie did not have any of the adult humor that we like to put in some of our other quote unquote kid movies. Now, I blame mostly Michael Myers and Jim Carrey, with their little adult jokes inside Dr. Seuss stories. Those were Dr. Seuss stories. You're supposed to have people in it under the age of 5. Do not try to be clever like that. That is just wrong. All right? It's an insult. It literally was an insult, but this is not an insult. This is, like I said, it is a movie that respects the source material. That's why when I watched Paddington, I didn't feel like somebody was stepping all over my childhood, ruining my childhood, trying to reinvent my childhood. I like Paddington the way he was. I like Paddington the way he is in this movie. He did a great job. If you haven't seen it yet, you definitely got to see it. It's a big time see it because we need to support movies that do it right. And it's not just about acting or character, and it's definitely not about reinventing something. Okay? We didn't want it reinvented. We liked it the way it was. And I speak to Transformers and G.I. Joes and, Smurfs. I like Paddington because Paddington is, as he is, a bear trying to live in the real world. All right, guys, that's it for me for today. We'll see you at the theaters.